Here's what I saw. I saw two things last night. Number one, and I'll get to this one in about 5 minutes. Giants are really well coached. The Giants had no run game, a bottom-end quarterback, bottom third of the league, and were driving to win the game and dominated time of possession. That's coaching. And by the way, weren't plagued by turnovers like the Cowboys. So I told you yesterday on the show, Dallas going to win, CeeDee Lamb's going to look really good, and Dak's going to be really solid. He was 22 of 27. Cowboys will win, and it will mean nothing. No, I mean, it means nothing. Dak is 24-4 against the Giants in Washington. 24-4. That's it, 24-4. And Washington and New York, since Dak's been in Dallas, win 38% of their games. They're terrible. They're two of the doormats. So Dak and Dallas both have benefited greatly, and Dak has benefited too. He's not getting that bag if he's in the NFC North and he's facing the Packers and he's facing the Lions, not winning those games. But he's gotten rich. Good for him. Happy for him. Don't resent it. But Dak and Dallas have benefited greatly from having two layups in their division. And to his credit, he's beaten them, I guess. But they don't beat good teams. They don't win big road games, big standalone national TV games against the good teams. Now, for the record, Big Ben and the Steelers had this for years with Cleveland and Cincinnati. They just, before Burrow got there and Baker got there, Pittsburgh owned Cleveland and Cincinnati. But Pittsburgh got 2 Super Bowls out of it. So they were beating the layups. You know, by the way, Brady had some doormat. Miami and the Jets and Buffalo for years. But Brady paid you off in the end. I'm not blaming you if you have a couple of doormats in your division for 8 years, like Dak has. Pittsburgh had it, but you got the payoff. But what also happened with Big Ben late, Burrow's in the division now. Lamar's in the division now. Hell, Baker's in the division now. And at the end, Cincinnati and Cleveland weren't the layups. And suddenly the Steelers got really irrelevant really fast and brag about never being below 500. That's their standard. And the Cowboys' standard is, hey, we win 12 games a year. Now, kind of 8 and the 4 layups. Pittsburgh started lowering their standard. Hey, we're never 500, under 500. Yeah, but you're irrelevant in January and February, like the Cowboys. But to Pittsburgh's credit, they did get trophies out of those 2 layups for years. It did help them get home field advantage when you go 4-0 every year against the lousy Bengals and the lousy Browns. But here's what's happening. But Cleveland briefly got the right quarterback. Cincinnati got the right quarterback, and Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. And suddenly you get much less relevant. So here's what's happening in the NFC East. Philadelphia just needs the right coach. And even Sirianni with the right coordinator got to a Super Bowl. So Philadelphia's got better players than Dallas, and they're a better organization. Washington's got Jaden Daniels. Kid can spin it. Hey, who's he look like? Lamar Jackson. You know, ask Big Ben about that. So now you got a Lamar Jackson clone in the division, and the New York Giants, and I'll get to this in a second, they're just a quarterback away. That's all they are. They got the coach. So Dallas, congrats on the division titles. But you have this advantage. Brady took advantage of, for years, the Jets being dysfunctional, the Bills being dysfunctional, and Miami being dysfunctional, because it guaranteed him 5 or 6 wins in the division. He gets the #1 seed home playoff games. And Big Ben, to his credit, would beat Cleveland and beat Cincinnati. And he would use that to get seeding and home field advantage. And he got Super Bowls out of it. Dallas has had that. Just layups. Washington and the Giants have been layups. Dak's 24-4 against them. It's getting you home playoff games. And what are you doing with it? Getting your doors blown off by Green Bay. So this doesn't mean anything. They've been doing this for years. And by the way, those tough road games and the better teams you don't beat, I looked at your schedule this morning. Here they come. At Pittsburgh, Detroit, at San Francisco, Philadelphia, Texans, even the Atlanta game's tough. Those are games you don't win, tough road games. So I don't begrudge you for getting a couple of layups in your division, but Brady and Big Ben and the Steelers took advantage of it. But what happened after a while for Tom Brady? He looked around and went, uh-oh, Josh Allen's in the division. And then Big Ben went, oh, Lamar and Joe Burrow in the division. Jaden Daniels is now coming to town. And if Jalen Hurts can get, who knows, Shane Steichen may say, I'm going back to Philadelphia. The way Anthony Richardson looks. I'm not begrudging anybody for taking advantage of opportunities. Generally, most great quarterbacks and coaches, I mean, when Nick Saban was in the SEC, there were so many bad coaches. Then Kirby Smart went over to Georgia, and now Lane Kiffin's in there. And here comes Sark in Texas. And Alabama doesn't have that road like they used to. Saban retires, Kalen DeBoer. The point being is Dallas has given you nothing, having this like 7-8 year advantage where Washington and New York have been garbage. Yeah, they're winning the games as Pittsburgh did, as Brady did. But those guys gave you something at the end. Dallas can't even win a second playoff game. That doesn't mean anything. All right, now I want to talk Giants. And I'm sure New York media today is pounding on them. But listen to this. Who had more first downs? The Giants. Who was better on third down? The Giants. Who had more total yards? The Giants. Who dominated time of possession? Giants. Who had a third the penalties? Giants. What I watched last night in New York was great coaching. They have no run game. Devin Singletary got no juice. Their O-line has one really high-end player left tackle. They have a bottom-tier quarterback, and we're driving for the win. Huh? Hear me out. If you took a Josh Allen and you put him on the Giants, let me ask you, you would suddenly have this. Devin Singletary at running back, Brian Dable on your offensive side, a great left tackle, tremendous defensive front. Oh, wait, and one-star weapon. That's Buffalo. Before they got James Cook. And yes, the Giants do need to upgrade at running back. Get that in the 4th, 5th round. The Buffalo Bills for years, before James Cook, had all the elements. The bones are here for the New York Giants. The bones are here. Daboll, a great left tackle, excellent defensive front, one of the best defensive tackles, great edge rusher, star weapon, and an offensive coach. The bones are here. The quarterback isn't. I mean, hell, the Giants and the Bills even play in New York. Now you're saying Colin. You're not going to get Josh Allen. No, you're not. You're probably not going to land Josh Allen. Next year's got 4 quarterbacks in the draft, first round, people like. Could be a Cam Ward, could be a Quinn Ewers, could be a Shedeur Sanders, could be the Beck kid at Georgia. You got 4. You always end up with about 4 to 5. Riley Leonard will go second round, a lot of talent, whatever. But the bones are here to the house. You think I'm crazy, right? Go look at Tampa before Brady. What do they have? One great weapon, excellent defensive front. Offensive coach, Bruce Arians. A playmaker on the outside, Mike Evans. The Giants have an excellent defensive line, a star receiver who's only getting better, an excellent left tackle, and an offensive coach. Tampa had Arians, a star weapon, a good defensive front. And then they drafted to solve one great offensive lineman at tackle, Tristan Wirfs. Houston Texans. Before they got C.J. Stroud, what did the Houston Texans have? A great left tackle. Nico Collins just needed somebody to get him the ball. They were 4th in takeaways in the NFL. I mean, they had this, the weapon, the left tackle, the defensive takeaways. So I don't buy this the Giants can't play. I'm watching last night with Brian Daboll. Dominate, this is almost unheard of, dominate time of possession with a bad quarterback and no run game. And I will say this, as I say, Daniel Jones isn't very good. Here's what's amazing, is until the final drive, Daniel Jones was good on third down, no picks, dominates time of possession with no run game, and is 29 for 37. You cannot do better than that with Daniel Jones. Before the final drive, when you're more desperate, have to throw 29 of 37, no picks, decent on third down, dominating time of possession with no run game. That's coaching. That's what coaching looks like. Bruce Arians needed a guy. The Texans needed a quarterback. The bones to the house are good. The Giants have the left tackle and the weapon and the great defensive front and the offensive coach. They got it. And there's 4 quarterbacks in the draft, and many of the bad teams don't need a quarterback. They just drafted one. You're going to get one of them. The future for the Giants, I got the bones. I got the big bones. The Cowboys, I just got big contracts. Going to have to pay Micah Parsons, who once again last night's either hurt or makes one or two splash plays, and I'm left thinking, not T.J. Watt, not Myles Garrett, not Hutchinson. Good, but I'm going to have to pay him like he's great. So my takeaway, you're looking at that game last night. Dallas beats them again. I got big contracts, don't love the ownership group. O-line, left tackle, and a quarterback I'm paying a fortune. Yeah, I mean, he's done the best he can do. I mean, he went to Duke. I know he's smart. I think he works hard. It's sort of like that art project your kid brings home that you put on the refrigerator. I'm proud of him. It ain't Picasso. You can be proud of him. He works hard. He's a good kid. I hope he does well. And Daboll's squeezing every bit of juice out of that orange, man. He's squeezing every ounce of it out. And I was really proud. I got emotional looking at that art every time I opened up the fridge. My kids gave it their best effort. It was not a Monet. And that's who's hoisting trophies. Kansas City has one. Buffalo has one. Cincinnati has one. For years, New England had one. San Francisco with Montana had one. Denver had one with Elway. You can be proud, appreciative. A student. Harvard is hoisting the trophy. Doesn't mean you can't be proud if you get into the state school. Daboll's doing everything he can, and this organization, coach, left tackle, defensive front, weapon, that's all the structural foundational bones Super Bowl teams have. Houston was in way worse shape. And they got coach and quarterback right. Hell, the Giants have the coach. Just got to get the dude.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.